Welcome to Enhanced Holistically Tarot and Life Advice. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, this is a different scenery than most of us are used to. For those of you that are tuning in for the very first time, thank you so much. My name is Tamika. And thank you for those that are continuously supporting this channel that are already subscribers. Thank you so much for your continued support. So if you hear a lot of talking in the background, I am in a Korean bathhouse right now. Decided to come out to Tampa to do some self-care, show myself some love, regroup, reevaluate, reflect. And that's much of what this video is going to be about today. And that's showing yourself self-love and self-care. I wrote down some notes, so if you see me look down, that is what I'm looking at. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was getting clear about being clear and what that looks like for you. And it's important for us to ask ourselves those probing questions that sometimes we don't often get an opportunity to answer ourselves in detail or even to ponder, give ourselves time to ponder because of stress at work, stress at home, or just day-to-day mundane things. It doesn't have to necessarily be stress, even though sometimes those things do come with stress. But just giving yourself a time of clarity and like a reboot, a rejuvenation, and outside of the readings and everything that kind of point towards what some of us are going through and going and venturing on, it's also important to just talk about the simplistic things of holistic healing, holistic health, and wellness, okay? And well-being, most of all. So I decided to come and just share my experience. One thing I realized is that if you don't take this time, sometimes you develop certain addictions, and not necessarily addictions to drugs and things when we hear about addictions, but we develop certain addictions to not so good, not the most healthiest coping mechanisms, whatever that might be. Okay, however that is for you, you identify that and have that self-talk with yourself. But it can develop into some addictions, and just to get you back, and those addictions or those things that you may come in contact with or decide to use as a coping mechanism, they become something bigger, and then before you know it, you're well off. You're way off the goal. You're way off where you want to be in life and your goal, situational, whatever that might be for you. Okay, so taking that time to get clear about being clear, taking some time away from the familiar environment. Sometimes people, they feel like, well, I can, be all by myself in my house or whatever, and you can. But if you're anything like me, sometimes things compete for your attention. For those of us that have kids, for those of us that have to do things around the house, it's been kind of like an outlier. You can tend to yield your attention to those things and never get what you need. So taking that time to just steal away, go on a vacation by yourself or with a close friend, and even going on those outings with friends, just make sure you create those healthy boundaries and have that time to yourself. Get away from your normal mundane environment. Okay, give people time to miss you. Um, just getting away, it just makes a hell of a lot of difference, because it puts you in a place where you have to focus on yourself. And I come to realize I really enjoy my own company, but at one point in time, because you're so used to being around people all the time, you kind of forget what that's like, and you don't identify or touch base with your inner self and figure out what it is that you truly like. Are you going with the crowd all the time so that you can kind of like go with the majority rules, so to speak, or are you creating a space and a place for your own self to rejuvenate, okay, and touch bases with your feelings, your shadow, your heart chakra. Check in with that, okay? So getting out of that routine, I said that I was going to do a trip for myself. Every quarter, every 3 months, I was going to do a trip for myself and with myself just to give myself time to reboot, because as a healer, you do expend and you exchange a lot of energy with people. But it's important to kind of fill your cup back up so that you can be the best facilitator in your scope of practice, in your area of work, or whatever the case may be, your purpose and your passions. In order for you to be optimized in that, you have to touch base with yourself first. Um, Spirit has also allowed me to rediscover my self worth and give back to myself to tune in. And that's very, very important. Meditation is great to do that, to steal those few minutes away in the morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you deem that time. And that time is still needed. But again, getting out of your familiar environment is very important. Very, very important. Spirit has allowed me to see a lot of signs and synchronicities. Not that I don't see these same things in my normal environment, but being somewhere else and still seeing those things, it's just letting you know that Spirit is just always with you no matter where you are. Okay? Um, Seeing yourself abundant in the areas of your wellness, in the areas of your mental health, in the areas of your heart, in the areas of forgiveness towards self and towards others. Okay, and then distinguishing facts, opinions, perceptions, and interpretations of your feelings and your thoughts. Sometimes the environment or the people around us influence all of those things. Sometimes you can't tell the fact from the perception, but when you have that time to be the hermit for a period of time, you can distinguish between those things. So if you're able to do that, that's awesome. Also, this is a time and a space to redirect your goals and what it is that you want to accomplish and how you maybe have veered off from actually um, getting towards on the path to uh, accomplishing those goals. Okay, this is a way to reset yourself. What have I done? How can I make it better? What can I do next time? What is the next cycle yielding me? What's next coming up? All those things are good ways to contemplate and to kind of like realign within yourself. Okay. Um, on our walk yesterday, we was going to get some breakfast and we saw a snail, and it was a very big snail. The snail's shell was cracked though, and you could tell with the heat here in Tampa that it was probably going to die and dry out in the sun because it didn't look like it started to look like it was already losing its fluids, its mucus to make it along its journey across the sidewalk. But looking up that, it was talking about slowing down. Looking at the spiritual meaning of a snail, it was talking about slowing down, taking some time to regroup, to process things that are really important, putting priorities on the things that you need to do versus what you want to do versus what you just want to see come happen. Like, what is the priority? But just taking that time to slow down, that was really what the message was that came from just seeing that. Um, was able to get some more sunflowers, went up the road a little bit more, and there was people on the side, vendors on the side of the road selling flowers and fruit. Was able to get a mango and was able to get some sunflowers to sit on the bedside table. It's just like the little things that put you back in touch with spirit and allow spirit to speak to you clearly. Honey, purchase some honey here locally with the honeycomb in it. And I don't know, you guys know that my OE is Oshun. So just seeing the things that she likes and the things that I like, and was able to kind of like put that in my environment, even away from home, was very, very lovely. Then I saw two birds. Two birds were really hovering, playing around, and that was the way of, birds have carry messages. And it was also just looking at them, just kind of like play with each other, just to remember to involve some play in your everyday life, some way, somehow. We get in the mundane, of course, and we just don't stop and play anymore. We don't stop and laugh, laugh at ourselves even. So I thought that was a really good thing to notice and recognize. Um, Notice the things or the components that end up, whether it be situational, like feelings that come up, whether it be situational or things that be recurring. in either case, I feel like we need to stop and address that, okay? Because we can get bogged down. And I know that we all say, some stress is good, but some stress can really alter your mind, your chemistry of your mind. And that's how depression and anxiety comes in that. And I feel like sometimes the spiritual path that you're on, sometimes it can allow you to see things for what they truly, truly are, with no filter, no kind of anything that will make it look even more beautiful than it probably could be. Or it just might be in the bare essence of it that makes you see the beauty in it. But however it goes for you, it's just important to stop and see that. See the bigger picture in the situations. Evaluate relationships. Evaluate boundaries in those relationships. Evaluate the boundaries within yourself as well. It's a very good thing to do. Identify, reestablish, and re-identify your abilities, your values, and your skills. Okay, and these are all the things that go into self-care. So, just want to encourage you. I know that some of you are out there maybe trying to figure out how can you reset. We're still in the eclipse, not the eclipse, excuse me, the Mercury retrograde. So this is a perfect time to slow down if you're able to do so. Take a few days off of work and go somewhere, like even if it's the next city over. Get your Airbnb and stay still. Okay, go walking on the trail. Just do the simple things, the very simple things that will recharge you. So, being that I've decided to do that for myself, I just want to share some of the things that I've experienced and what joy it has brought me just in a couple of days to reset and be able to tackle some things. Let me see if I can go back a little bit more in some notes. Okay. Get in touch with stay focused on not focused, but be in tune with your spirit guides, your angels, the ancestors, and the divine through this whole process because you think you get downloads before, you would definitely get downloads when you purpose this time to really get back in tune with self. Okay? Being appreciative, having a heart of gratitude, sitting back thinking about things that bring you joy, sitting back thinking about memories that made you appreciate where you were and where you are now. Very important. Knowing that life is plentiful and abundant. When we say abundance and we talk about prosperity, the first thing we jump to is money. And that's good because money does fuel us to be able to carry out certain things to help people. But it's also the wellness of everything, the alignment that comes with the wellness within your spirit. And just allowing your spirit guides to give you dreams and what those dreams mean. Okay. For instance, I'm gonna share with you a dream I had the second night I was here, and I was going up to a post office service, and I was going up to a post office, and I was sending off, I think, a package of some sort. And the lady at the counter, it was an older lady at the counter, she kept giving me like bits and pieces of information. And it was like every time I would go, and I know some of you have just noticed this or have been through this just in regular day-to-day life, but there was a simplistic message in this. Going up to the counter, and every time I would go, she would only give me parts of the information I needed to accomplish my overall reason for being there, right? And I would get frustrated. And Spirit was like, and my friend actually brought it to my attention. She said, do you think that your dream meant that you're not supposed to get it all at one time? That you're supposed to get it in bits and pieces? That it's important for you to just take what you have, work with that, and then when it's time, you'll go back and get the other pieces of what you need to accomplish your overall reason for being there. And the funny thing about it is looking through the glass, I could see all of what I needed. It's just that she was rationing it to me. And I was like, you know what, you're right. You're right. And that was again me slowing down, me knowing that I have what I need right now. It may not be the end all be all of what I'm trying to accomplish, but I do have what I need. And going deep into that message, even though it seemed like something so simple and that's happened to us on a regular day basis, But it was beneficial because I wouldn't have dreamt about that if I hadn't needed to take a step back and realize, okay, are you asking for all these things too soon? The spirit is like, no, you don't need that piece of information right now. You need this piece of information. You go with that, and then you come back. When you come back, I'll see if you're ready for the rest of it. And that's so loving of spirit to do so because we don't know how we will self-sabotage sometimes when we get everything at one time. It's just like a kid. Like, you get them everything at one time and they don't work for anything, they won't appreciate it. And so I appreciated that dream, among others that I've had since I've been here. But I really appreciated that dream, and that prompted me to just take stock, slow down, along with everything else that spirit has been giving me since I've been here. Anyway, I just wanted to share that little bit. I don't want to make this message too long, but I felt like that this would be a prompting for those that are watching to really take some time for yourself, whether it be a day or two. Get away from your normal environment, spend the day in nature or wherever. Okay, this is just one of my stops since I've been here. I like coming to Korean bathhouses. So quiet and quaint, and you can spend the whole day here and nobody's really bothering you. But anyway, I love you all so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon.